I see the light, and then I start waking up. That was a freaking light from the hospital, man.
What was the biggest hurt?
This is the first time actually I'm talking about this on a podcast. She said, God, take my life, but please give my son a second opportunity. To me, that was my turning point. You gotta choose people that are different, but they're the same.
Ok, bienvenidos a The Blueprint Podcast. Estamos aquí con Christian, Chico, Jimenez, el campeón de campeones.
¡Woo!
Bienvenidos, brother.
Muchísimas gracias. Me encanta este podcast. Me encanta que lo vamos a hacer en español. Estamos listos.
Ok, excelente. Mira, mi español no es perfecto, pero es suficiente para comunicarse, ¿ok?
Wow.
Okay. Vamos, ¿listos?
Woo!
Okay, we'll do a little bit of Spanish in between.
Yeah, by the way, but your Spanish is getting flawless. Like, it's even better than before.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Okay, Chico Rico, Chico Lin, Chiquis. Él tiene muchos nombres. Mira, dime, ¿quién es Cristian Chico Jiménez?
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm going to switch it off in English, okay? Even though that's not my first language. But, yeah, maybe I can do like a quick bio about myself so you guys can get to know like who I am. And after that, I can tell you a little bit more about me, okay? So I'm from Peru. You know, hopefully someone is from Peru, someone that is listening to us. I've been in the country since 2004 actually. Yeah, like I come from a third world country. I'm an immigrant. I've been so blessed, man, and I really mean it, to turn my life around, you know, and overcome poverty and things that comes with living in a third world country. And I've been so blessed to be here, you know. So I'm married now. You know, so I'm sorry. I got two beautiful kids, Mateo, 7 years old, and Mia, she's 4 years old. You know, I love God with a lot of passion. I'm super involved in church. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. And of course, I work for the best platform ever, Raftr.
Awesome. Just for the viewers, we've known each other for over 10 years now. I remember the first
Crazy,
time.
Man.
Yeah, I remember the first time we met. I remember the story. There's a lot we got to talk about today. I think you have a beautiful story. I think the adversity that you've gone through, how you've overcome it, is incredible. It's a one-of-one story. We've talked about you on the previous podcast with Stu, Linny. Your names came up, so we're honored to have you as a guest today.
That.
And I wanna really dive in deep today, okay? Because there's a lot of things about your past that a lot of folks don't know. That you said it was okay that we talk about, so for sure we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get it real today.
Yeah, and yeah, we want to have a great time, and hopefully some folks listen to this walk away with some really good inspiration on what they can do to turn their life around, and really make some good positive changes that are long lasting, not the short term ones. So we're gonna talk a lot about that. Normally we'll go in sequential order. We'll start off with childhood and all the rest of it, but today we're gonna let's go straight in. Okay?
Love it. Let's do it.
So, and I'll let you tell the full story, but I'll just start it off. You had a history with drugs and rehab and all the rest of it. Yeah, you like to party. Yeah, it was the good stuff though. Like the real good stuff.
Yeah, actually, back in the day it was really good.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So anyway, listen, a lot's happened since then. You've made a bunch of changes, but I wanna talk a little bit about that, right? Because addiction is a real problem, and sometimes that addiction is in the form of drugs, sex, gambling, porn. Like there's a bunch of different addictions that people have, and addiction is a real thing.
Yep,
it really
absolutely.
is. I've personally seen it destroy people's lives. I've seen it destroy their families. They lose all their money. They're out on the streets. I've seen it where there's like the low-key addiction where you've got problems, but you're just better at hiding them. So it's still messing up your life, but you just cover it well. And I want to talk about that.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. First, I want to tell you this, though, that a lot of people might not know, but I think we all are addicted to something in life, right? Whether that's going to be, drugs, which a lot of people, they assume that, hey, if you're addicted, it have to be alcohol and drugs. But there's so many forms and shapes. You can be struggling because of your ego. You can be struggling because, as you mentioned, porn. Like, there's a lot of people out there, struggling because of that. It could be like so many things, right? So I do believe that addiction is a real problem, and I do believe that addiction do comes in different forms and shapes. Going back to my past though, if I have to talk about addiction in my life, yeah, I got addicted to like so many different kind of drugs and alcohol, right? And I want to tell you this, which is a beautiful thing that happened to me. You watch soccer, you like soccer,
Yeah, of course.
so
Football.
football. There you go. And today, actually, Madrid is playing, and I think
What about Barca yesterday?
he might be losing. Anyways, but
What about Barca yesterday?
yeah, I know, man, that sucks.
Just making sure you knew.
So there's gonna be two times, right? There's the halftime, and there's the second time, right? So first time and second time. I gotta tell you, man, I was here initially. I arrived to the country in 2002, I think, up until 2010. That was my first half. Man, yeah, I got destroyed on my first half to this beautiful country. I'm gonna tell you why. My thought process was super weak. I have so much anger, towards people, towards life. So many things happened in my childhood that I really didn't take advantage of this beautiful opportunity. And what ended up happening, though, I got here when I was 18. Please don't do the math, folks out there, because I don't like to talk about my age. But
44.
At that point, though, I took all the wrong decisions, man. And I really mean it. I started working, I started making money. I see people doing drugs over here. Like, there's nothing. Back in my country, if you smoke, and I'm talking about just a cigarette, it was kind of a big deal. Over here, man, like, I see people snorting drugs, cocaine, at a club in front of absolutely everyone. It was just normal. Mm-hmm. And what it got to me, though, I also see people, like, just, shooting some heroin like it was nothing. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Let me try some of that stuff, man, that we don't have over there. I did try it pretty much everything.
Like a lot.
Like a lot. So my first half, man, and I'm just going to try to summarize as much as we can, and then we can go into details. But it was bad, like super bad, to the point that at that time, by 2010, 2011, 2 overdoses and 1 was attempt to suicide. So I have to go back to my country for so many reasons. So many. I was weighing 85 pounds. I was in a really bad shape. I got back to my country. I remember my mom going to pick me up at the airport, and she couldn't recognize me. Like, that's when okay, you have an issue, man. Yeah. I was so skinny, and my eyes were just black, and it was just one of those situations, right? When you're addicted, you're addicted. So first time around, something amazing happened on that trip. I was there for a year and some change. I came back in 2012. That's when I met you. Almost there. I think I met you in 2013. My second time around coming to this beautiful country, man, my mindset, it was different, man. I was an animal. Yeah. I still am. In a good way, right? My whole thought process changed at that point. I love God more than ever. He saved me. He rescued me. And, brother, like, I was being able to have that second opportunity, man. So that second time around, I come in, kind of like Barcelona, I come in to play. And, yeah, we were losing 5-0 first half, man. We turned it around. And I think right now we're at 10-5. So it's one of those situations, Nehal.
Yeah. That's incredible. I wanna dive into the root of some of that stuff. Okay, so I've got like a bunch of questions as you're telling me the story that came to mind. Number one is, and you mentioned it, like there were some deep rooted issues, right? Because 9 times out of 10, people are doing drugs specifically to numb the pain.
Yep.
So my question for you is, what was the biggest hurt? Like, what was so painful?
Okay, so I'm going to go super deep into this, okay? This is the first time, actually, I'm talking about this on a podcast. I did a few, and I haven't really get into it, okay? Mm-hmm. So, I come from a dysfunctional family. I didn't meet my dad up until, like, a few years ago. And I think I have just so much anger, man. Coming from Peru, living in Lima, one of the worst places in Lima, for people that knows, is San Juan del Urigancho. At that time, and we have so many gangs, and it was just a disaster. It was really bad. Unfortunately, man, at a certain age, at a young age, I think it was probably 7, 8, that was the first time I got molested, sexually molested. And I think to me at that point it was like, where's my dad? You know, what is it that these things has to happen to a kid that really like put so much anger at that age in my life?
And how old were you?
I think I was either 7 or 8, you know, and yeah, I mean, like I was just frustrated, man. I was just angry at God, you know. I didn't want to believe in God anymore. I was actually atheist for a little bit, you know, and not because of my core principles, but it was just because of what happened to
Pain,
me.
yeah.
You know, not having my dad, I always felt like, man, like, dude, where are you? You're supposed to protect us. You're supposed to, like, you know, bring food to the table. And now we're struggling. And now I see my mom literally working on every single worst job that you can think of so we can eat. You know, and sometimes it was those situations that we couldn't eat. And she's a warrior, man. The work ethic that I got, by the way, is because of her. I've seen her hustling. I saw her doing anything and everything. I see how people will mistreat her because she needed to wash clothes for other people, you know, just do whatever she has to do to get a couple of pesos. So it was one of those situations, man. So as I'm growing up, I started like doing drugs, probably like I started drinking like at the age of 12, I think, which is normal, by the way, in our countries, right? Like 11, 12, woo, yeah, you're partying already. But I touched drugs when I was probably like 13, you know, and once again, just all the anger, everything that I had in my heart for what has happened to me, plus, you know, not having that father figure. Yeah, man, like that made me like an angry person, brother. Like it was just bad to the point, and this is going to be super deep, right? I was one of the first cases to develop juvenile arthritis. That's what they call them. So I had arthritis by the age of 17 to 18. And I'm going to tell you what happened, though, so people can do understand. All these diseases, I know that some of that really comes from generations, from your mom, your dad, your grandparents, whatever the case might be. But a lot of these, man, comes because you're hurting. So what has happened to me is I have so much pain and anger that thing, man, like that thing was coming out of my heart. And what it was doing, as it's coming out, it was destroying my bones, you know. And when they told me, yeah, you have arthritis, and I couldn't walk for a little bit, you know, I was in a really bad shape. And I'm talking about 18, you know, on top of all the drugs that I was doing, on top of all the party and everything else. I understood. At that point, I didn't, but now I do. Brother, like, all that anger was killing me, literally, though.
Literally, yeah.
Like it was really destroying my body, right? And to have arthritis at that age, you know, I remember talking to the doctor over here. He said, yeah, this is one of those weird situations. You're super young and it just, you know, happened. And they showed me like so many like CT scans about my bones, and it was just a disaster, man. It's what, like, you cut a cheese, one of those that has a lot of holes. That's the way my bones would look like. You know, so I know that it was a rooted problem that caused that disease. Anyways, yeah, so that's where all the pain, man, and the anger came from, you know?
Yeah, that's deep. Thank you for sharing. How'd you start the recovery process? You talked about the second half. You obviously hit something very, very low. You, as you like to say, you touched the ground, touched the floor.
I did.
What was your rock bottom? What was touching the floor? And then I got a couple questions on top of that.
Beautiful. Look, in my case, I'm not going to call it touching a rock bottom, right? A lot of people, they call it that. I think I was a little bit below that stage, you know, and maybe I can give you an example on this, but I feel like I was, rock bottom is over here. I feel like I was in a hole, you know, and I was like super deep that a lot of human beings, they were trying to reach out to me to get me out of the hole, but they couldn't. Why? Because I was on a hole. They couldn't like really literally like get down the hole, get me up, pick me up. They couldn't. So at that point, I understood that it was only one being or one person that was able to help me, which in this case is God. Like he was the only one that he was able to like be strong enough to like get all the way in, carry me out, get me out of the hole, and here I am, you know. And just to give you more details on that thought process on what happened there, 2011, I already had like 2 overdoses. By the way, I used to owe a lot of money to the hospitals over here. But I was taken to, it was the third time around that I was drinking a lot, doing a lot of drugs. I'm talking about one of those days. I was dealing with depression, for all these years. And I remember having this, what was it, an eclipse. At that point, it was a brand new eclipse. So it could have been 2009, 2010. Paid it off, by the way. Don't ask me how.
Where'd you get the money?
Exactly. Yeah, that's going to be another podcast for sure. Brother, I was driving that thing and I was just depressed, man. I was just, for people that actually are going through depression, man, like this is a real problem, man. I was depressed for years, many years. Like you're in a bad place, like you don't want to talk to people, you don't know who you are. You lose like, it's like just a human being without a soul. That's the way it felt. Anyway, so took the car out. I knew what I wanted to do that day. I was driving all the way. I think it was in Deep Ellum. I was driving I got into 30, and I exit on Ferguson, 30 and Ferguson. And then I see like this big pole that, that is underneath the bridge, that is holding the bridge or supporting the bridge. And I was like, yeah, this is it. So I turned around and I started speeding up. I wanted to get to that pole like so bad, brother, like so bad. I just wanted to like all that pain and everything else. I just wanted to be done, be gone. So, brother, like I'm going fast on that street. Once again, this is 30 Ferguson, and I am going all the way into the polk. And the people say that if, when you're dying or you have those situations that you're almost dead, you feel like your soul is leaving your body. Mm-hmm. I actually felt that. And this is the bad part about that situation. I felt good. How bad is that? I felt good that I was leaving this earth. And like how people said, yeah, like you're going to see this, like you start seeing the tunnel, you start seeing the light. Brother, I started seeing that. And Kai, I was like, this is it. Brother, like I see the light. And then I started waking up. That was a freaking light from the hospital, man.
Like one of those lights.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And then I see doctors, nurses. I was like, my God, man. Like, yeah, third time around, did it happen? I was like, just, God, like, I either got to get back to you or like we have to figure this thing out, man, because you don't want to let go.
Mm-hmm. Where does like the idea of going to God even come from? Like, is your family, mom, religious, like Fluchita and stuff like that? By the way, as strong as can be, beautiful, sweet, kind-hearted, and hearing how tough she is,
Bro,
like
yeah,
back then versus like when we talk
beast.
about her now, that's a special human being. And
She's
for
a
sure, you got
beast.
your charisma from her too.
Yeah, like
100%.
she's that passive. Like if you see her, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she's so sweet
Yeah.
and passive. You see, man, what a nice lady. Brother, like if she has to hustle, if she has to make things happen.
Big G. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
it's getting
she'll
done.
make
It's
it
getting
happen.
done. It's getting done. But yeah, to tell me, like, because a lot of people, I think, go through something similar, right? Where they're in the hole, they don't know where to go, and most times they just keep digging a deeper and deeper hole because they're so far removed from God that they don't even think God can save them. And in some cases, I've even heard where they think God's mad at them and God's doing this to them to punish them. So the last person they want to go to is the punisher,
Yeah.
so to speak, right? So out of all the places you could have gone, how'd you end up finding God?
Man, that's a beautiful question. Yeah, we're going really deep, huh? Look, brother, my mom, she's been she's a believer.
Mm-hmm.
She believed in God, since I was probably like 10, 11 maybe. She used to like try to take me to church. And actually, like I did go to church, and I was one of those situations where they have to like kick me out of church. Back in my country, I did so many like wrong things, bad things. But man, like she was a warrior when it comes to praying, man. Like she would pray day and night, and I can listen to her, and I can like listen to like the way she was praying, the way she was communicating with God. And it was for me at that point, it was impossible not to believe that there's God. Like if someone has that much passion and someone can, get on their knees and start like crying, like asking God for things, but with that passion, I was like, yeah, it have to be God. But it was just all the resentments and everything else that I didn't want to like maybe get close to him, but yeah, like since child, I will say, well, since I was like 10, 11, I got that from my mom, like she will go to church. Once again, sometimes she will push us to go to church. I have a sister. She's 2 years older than me. And sometimes we'll go, sometimes I wouldn't. And, by the age of 13, yeah, it was my life, though. At that point, I wouldn't do anything. I would just, run away from home. I was doing just so many crazy things, right? But, yeah, to answer the question, that came from my mom. And I'm going to link something into that. When we're talking about like this situation, I was at the hospital. I was sent to this mental institution, which is on Samuel and Wagner, I think. I remember talking to one of the psychiatrists or whatever. They have to keep you there 2-3 days if you attempt against your life. It's part of the routine.
Yeah.
So I was there, and this dude started like talking to me, and I was like, man, like I don't want to listen to you, brother. Like my thought process is always like, I cannot give something I don't have. So for this guy, and to just come to me and tell me you should do this, you should do that, I was like, dude, what do you know about life? What do you know about being, like going through this situation that I went through? Like, you've never done drugs. Like, how can you like trying to coach me if you never overcome something that I'm dealing with? That was my thought process. But there's something powerful he told me though. He said, you know what I would do if I'm on your shoes? I'll go back to my country and say bye to my family. Because at this point, it seems that you don't want to leave. But at least you should go. Maybe that will help you. Man, I took that into my heart. And I was like, you know what? He might be right. Like, I'm alone over here. I'm doing so many crazy things. I'm in a bad shape. I crushed my bones. I have my coccyx was all over the place. Thank God I didn't go through surgery, which is great. Anyways, but I go back to my country, right? And that's the point where I was telling you, like, as soon as I arrived, my mom, she didn't recognize me. It was really bad. We went home. I was doing drugs still over there. And this is my turning point when I was in that hole. Okay, so it was one of those nights I went partying a little bit. Over there, everyone knows me in Cajamarca, which is La Sierra of Peru. And I was well known at that time. I was moving, I was doing a little bit of everything, right? So as I'm coming back home that night, I was like opening the door, and Kai, like, I can hear that there's a word in Spanish that is gemir. In English, it would be like someone that has cried so much that doesn't have even words anymore, and they start just making sounds. I can start hearing that. And as I'm approaching a little bit more closer to the house, it was my mom. Brother, like, I see her. She couldn't see me. She's on the floor crying, like, and she's gimiendo, like she's making these weird sounds, like where she doesn't even have words anymore. And I remember something powerful, man, that I will never, ever, ever forget. She mentioned these words, okay? She said, God, take my life, but please give my son a second opportunity. To me, that was my turning point. Like for her, and when someone means something.
Yeah.
For her to tell God that, I was like, man, what is going on with me? That was my turning point. That's when I told God, hey, let's do something about this, man. Like I'm all in. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. And that's the way I went to rehab over there in Peru.
That's powerful. Yeah, a mother's love is different, huh?
It is.
A mother's love is different, man. It's the thing that I think every man needs. It keeps us from being savages, especially some of us. And I know you're one of those people because I know I am. And that's why we get along so well. It gives a feminine energy that we need, because if not...
And Kai, look, that's what I don't want to sound a little bit weird, but that's what I love you a lot, and I respect you a lot but like your mom to you is everything. And it's the same thing with me, right? My mom is everything, brother. Like, it's just, and another similar thing is like, I know that your mom has been praying a lot for you.
Like
A lot. My
like
mom
a
has been
lot,
praying,
yeah.
like, man, like every day, all the time since I was, a child. And because of those prayers, it's the fact that you and me, like, we're here today. Straight up.
Bro.
It has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with you.
Nor me. If someone asked me today, and most people don't know the specifics of my story, and most of the things I did were very illegal, so I can't even say them because I would for sure be in a funny position today. But for as many times as I should have been in jail, or I shouldn't be alive, or should have been in a really, really bad position or situation, there's only one thing that I genuinely believe in the bottom of my heart, and it was my mother's prayers.
1,000%.
That's it. It wasn't anything that I did. It has zero to do with me, and has everything to do with how hard she prayed, how consistently she prayed. And even though she did not know what was going on, she knew something was going on.
They have that seventh sense, man. Like they do. Like there's no question about it.
It's freaking insane. A mother's intuition, a mother's love is something you just can't replicate that. You can't simulate it. And yeah, it's just something special.
It's just
special,
for the
bro.
audience, man. Like truthfully, if you're not that close to your mom, man, you have to make an attempt. Like if you're fighting or you guys have some issues or whatever the case might be, everyone needs to understand that the love that mom can give you, nobody else can. Not even your dad.
And the
Bottom
blessings.
1,000%, Kai.
And the blessings, yeah.
Because of those prayers, it has nothing to do with me, I promise you. Like that kept me alive, man.
Yeah.
Like that really did. That protect me from that attempt of suicidal, that overdoses, two of them, like all those crazy things, man. If she wouldn't be praying for me, for sure I'm gone.
Yeah.
She could move God's heart.
Yeah.
And just like a few people can do that. And I know like they did that.
Yeah. Because that's pure, right? It's like in its purest form.
Yeah.
And God loves that.
He loves because it's authentic.
Yeah,
man,
it's real.
And
it's
it comes
real.
like those tears come from the bottom of their heart. Like they're not pretending something, man.
Yeah, and it's in zero to gain.
Yep.
For her, especially in that situation, because those words are powerful. For her to say, "Take my life to give him a second chance,"
I'll never forget that.
There's no selfish gain in that. There's no like, "Oh, I want this thing." It's pure, right? And God answers those prayers, man. That He really does, and I'm glad He did for you.
It's beautiful.
Let me ask you something. Just a quick one. When you were driving and you saw the pole on the bridge, did you hit the pole?
Yeah, I did.
What about how hard? How fast do you think you were going?
Nah, probably like 60.
That's fast.
It is fast.
That's fast. And did you fly out the car? Airbag? You just woke up?
Airbag. I woke up at the hospital. But I think like the ambulance, I'm assuming that they came, they took me to the hospital, and the rest of it.
Yeah.
The car was destroyed, man.
You know what's crazy? You hear about people's stories and you hear about these near-death experiences, and some people have been in wrecks that are 20, 30, 40 miles an hour and died. And then you hear about this story where it's a 60 mile per hour into just a straight pole, concrete pole, and you survived. And that alone has got to be like, all right, man. Like it has to at least start turning something where it's like, okay, he's keeping me around for a reason. What is this reason? Maybe he's not mad at me. Maybe he's actually putting me through some of the stuff so I can come back to him.
Yeah.
Because he knows if he makes it easy on me, then I'm definitely going further away and I'm doing all the things that I know I shouldn't be doing. But if he gives me hardship, then he knows I'm going to come seek his help and his forgiveness and his blessings.
Yeah. Brenda, that's actually like super powerful. I thought like he was really pissed at me. I just did so many wrong things, right? And being atheist, man, like that's a big deal. Like coming from,
I didn't know that.
like I didn't want to do anything with him.
Because the city that you come from, it's like, it's a very...
Oh yeah, like we're super religious.
Yeah,
man.
I was going to say, right?
Yeah. But at that stage though, I was just I don't think I got to be atheist because of my core principles and what I really believe.
Just anger, right?
Yeah, it was just all the anger, all the
Yeah.
pain. That was it. It's almost like, man, I'm mad at you. I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
really
and
what it
I'm gonna
was.
avoid you. That's
Yeah.
it. You know, and yeah, I run the play for a little bit, and so also I can get away with so many things, right? I can drink, I can do drugs, I don't
Yeah,
care.
because you don't
There's
feel
no
the
God.
accountability, right?
There's zero accountability, man.
And to a certain extent, it's almost like I'm doing this to piss you off even more,
Yeah.
right? Like
what
it's
are
a little
you?
bit of a
Like,
form of revenge.
yeah, I would
like,
tell like what else could happen to me, man? Like a lot of things already happened. So
Yeah.
what else? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't care about no consequences.
Yeah.
You know, and that's super wrong, man, that thought process, right? Or even think that, man, like God is mad at me. Like that means that you don't really know who God is, man.
Yeah.
Like we don't understand who
Yeah.
God is. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't think like the way we do. Like his wisdom and the way he's made of love. He's not love. Like he's made of love and compassion and a God of second opportunities. And we don't understand that because we think as humans.
Yeah.
Like if I'm mad at you, you know, and I do something against you, I know you're going to be mad at me somehow. You know, we thinking with that thought process, a human thought process, and we don't fully understand that, man, God is different.
Yeah.
You know, he's just full of love and compassion. Don't get me wrong. He's going to hold you accountable regardless,
Like a
right?
lot.
Yeah. But, man, like, he's just different.
Yeah. It really is. Do you think there was any other way that you would have been able to turn things around?
No.
No, right?
Absolutely not.
Here's
No.
what I equate it to. And I'm like you on this, and this is one of the reasons we get along so well. We're very hard-headed, right? Like we're stubborn. Even like and maybe not as much today, right? Because we've gone through things and we've gained wisdom, but most men specifically are very stubborn and very hard-headed, and they have to learn the hard way. They don't want to learn the easy way. They don't want to learn through wisdom. They don't even want to learn through a minor experience. And here's the best way I can explain it. I get pulled over by a cop for speeding, and he's like, listen, son, if you speed again, I'm gonna give you a warning, ticket next time. Cool. I go speed again. Of course. All I got was a warning. Next time, I get a ticket. Whatever. Just a ticket. Pay the fine. I get another ticket, and they're like, no, you need to report to court. And eventually, I'm a couple tickets in, and the judge is like, listen, if you don't slow down, son, you're going to either die or go to jail. And I'm like, cool. Sounds like I'm going to go speed. And I go speed again, and then something crazy happens. The car flips. I get into a really bad accident. And then I wake up one day, and I'm like, damn, why didn't anyone tell me to not speed? That's how we are. That's how we
Man,
are.
That's a great
That's how we
example.
learn. Like we have
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
through some of the hardest
The
things.
pain, right? Like that's the way it works. Right?
Yeah.
You have to feel the pain.
Have to. That's the only thing that inspires the change. Because
Yeah.
if it was that easy for us, then surely someone along the way told you, "Hey, Christian, Chiquis, don't do drugs." And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. You know, I'm
Like
done.
easy. Oh, I never thought of it like that. Right? It doesn't work that way. That's I want to talk a little bit about.
Good stuff with that example. I love it.
It's true though, right?
Yeah, it is. And also, like, just to like put some caveat on top of what you said, it's everyone has like a different levels, right? Like some people, they just get, like you mentioned, like they get to jail and that's how they fix their life around. And there's some other folks, like probably like you and me, that we have to go a little bit deeper than that we have to get into like a real accident before we can learn. You know, so there's different layers of that.
And it can't be like a little small accident either.
Nah, yeah, you have to.
Like you got to be
if you're gonna
fighting
do
for
it,
your
man,
life.
yeah, you gotta
you
do
got
it
to be
right.
fighting for your life. Yeah, you got to be fighting
Yeah.
for your life, or like be in a really, really low position where you're like, all right,
And I mentioned
I
that
gotta
because
change.
I know that you had a big bike accident, right?
Yeah.
Like that you almost took your life away, and that's what like I felt like, yeah, man, like this dude, he actually understands.
Yeah.
You know?
But listen, it had to go into that really bad accident for me to slow down on that motorcycle. Because I got the tickets. I had like a stack of tickets, and I was getting 3 at a time. And I'll tell you why. 1, I was getting pulled over for speeding. That's if I stopped. 2, no M endorsement on my license. 3, no insurance on the bike.
Let's
So I would
go.
get 3 tickets at a time. At one point, I was up to like 9, 12 tickets. But I was like, whatever, I'll pay this off at some point. But it wasn't up until I got in that wreck where I was like, all right, like something And here's the beautiful thing about it. Bro, I got in that motorcycle accident and I got hit by a truck. And my mom's probably going to listen to this and she's never heard this story. So sorry, Ma. I got in that wreck and I didn't look down at the speedometer, but I was probably going 70, 80 miles an hour.
On a bike, like that's
on a motorcycle, on a crotch rocket. And I'm moving in and out of traffic, and I may not been under the influence. And bro, I get hit, and I'll never forget. I slide across 3 lanes, and I first land on my knees, and somehow I flip over to my back because I was trying to slow down because it's just instinct, like stop.
Yeah.
And I remember because I started tearing up my hands.
Wow, man.
And I ended up in the final lane on the left lane, and I see headlights coming. I see a car coming. And meanwhile, while I'm sliding, all I can think about is my motorcycle. Because I'm hearing it just get hit. I'm hearing it get hit by cars. And I'm like, oh,
I don't
no.
blame you, man.
And remember, I don't have insurance on these things. So I was like, damn. I knew I should have had that shit. And I end up in the last lane, and I look up, and I see the headlights, and I, like, crawl over to the left, and I, like, put my back up against the median, and I like take off my helmet, and I'm like, and this like sweet old lady pulls up like slowly, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, and bro, I like immediately start checking my wrists, and I start like extending my knees, and I just start moving around, and I'm like, I'm alive, and not only am I alive, I got, from what I can tell, no broken bones.
Wow.
Long story short, ambulance comes and I go through the whole process. And I had some really bad burns and I had some really bad scars to this day on my lower to mid back. My lower to mid back looked like medium rare meat. You know what I mean? I'm happy to show you right now. Yeah. It's disgusting.
Wow.
But I've heard of stories people going 20, 30 miles an hour on a bike.
Gone.
And bro, they land wrong, neck, spinal cord, whatever, and they don't make it. And that was one of multiple moments where I realized, all right, I got to change some things up. Like I'm not really living life to God, for God. Like I need to wake up a little bit. So I'm a big believer in that because all the other stuff, and I had fell off my bike twice before that. Wow. But not that bad. But that's what it takes sometimes. And I also think the way my life has gone, there couldn't have been any other way. It had to be this way for me to learn the lessons I had to learn and to become the man that I am today. And I think you feel the same way.
Oh, 100%, Kai. That's a beautiful story, man. That's good.
Let's talk. I wanna talk about the rehab stuff because I've heard some things.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's another one.
Tell me this. Tell us about the physical before the mental, because we're gonna go into that. But tell me first only about the physical part of the withdrawals, rehab, what you're physically feeling before we even get to what's going on up here.
Absolutely. It was probably 7 days. I think it was 6-7 days on the floor, throwing up. I mean, I don't want to sound disgusting, but pooping a lot, and it was one of the situations.
Because you got to get it out of your body.
Yeah,
it's a detox.
But that pain, though, this is the difference, though, for me. I did detox without any type of medication. Most folks, they do it, the other way around, where they have like a good amount of, vitamins and whatever the case might be. So medication, pain medication for the pain, I didn't do none of that. Why? I was super broke, and my mom found a place for me in one of the worst places in Lima, Peru. And I didn't know, but this place, when I arrived to this place, I can see that it's like a house, 3-story home. And I can see like all the windows, they have metal. Like outside the windows, there's metal. And I was like, man, either they steal a lot over here or something is going on. And I find out that they have metal because some of these guys, they will just jump from the windows, either to try to escape or they couldn't deal with the pain. But I'm going to tell you why. They don't use any type of medication there. Either they don't believe on it or they don't have it or whatever the case might be. Now I know. I think a lot has to do with what you were mentioning, right? Like you have to go through the real pain in order for you to learn. And that's their thought process, and that's their model. So I was on a room, and what they do is they will lock me up on that room up until I
How
needed.
big of a room?
Well, it was just super small, probably in meters. It's like 3 by 3, so way smaller than this studio.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Bathroom, little bed, like a cell, like a jail cell
yeah,
almost.
it was
Yeah.
almost like a cell.
Yeah.
And bro, like I couldn't eat, water. I will try to drink some water, but I start like throwing up. I still remember that process, man. On like every minute, it was like it felt like hours, man. And you know what's crazy? This is happening through Christmas and New Year's.
Sheesh.
Almost got me to New Year's, but Christmas for sure. I do remember being there, and I remember going through like this whole pain, and I started like thinking like, man, what is people doing like today for Christmas? And I'm there at the rehab and just throwing up, and it was really disgusting, man. It has nothing to do with this place, okay? So I just want to make sure that we all on the same page on that piece. I just think like I needed to go through that process in order for me to like really get sober. I think if it would have been in the States, over here I went to different programs, right? 24. Like I know like most of the programs over here, it would have been easy. Just give you like pain medication to deal with the pain. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
hey, I'm gonna take the hardcore drugs. I'm gonna give you like a different type of drugs, and just stable your body, and then you're good to go. So you didn't really feel that pain.
Yeah, that's. And
So
it's,
over
yeah.
here, yeah, brother, like 6 to 7 days, guy on the floor, throwing up every single minute. I still remember every single minute of it, and I don't wish this to anybody, man. Like this is like real pain. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the emotional pain. That's on top of everything. That physical pain, man, you feel like you're dying. I don't know if you ever went to any type of detox, but yeah, I felt like I'm not gonna make it. I really felt like that. But this is talking about like years and years and years of pills, and like the hardcore drugs and like everything leaving my body, man.
Yeah.
So it was a disaster. I would say like at least 5 to 6 days, first 3 days, I was gone, man. Like it was bad.
Brutal, huh?
Yeah. The last 3 days, I think it was much better.
Did you go in like the day after when you walked in that night, or was it like weeks after, a month after?
To that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, like I'm gonna share this with you, which I know that you were talking to Maria about this on your podcast last time. I think you guys were saying that yeah, this guy, man, he likes to touch people. Not like that, please. But I'm a hagger, right? Like that's who I am. I'm gonna tell you how and what happened, okay? And it has a lot to do with this rehab program. I'm coming to this place after I hear my mom crying, as I was telling you. This is in Cajamarca, Sierra of Peru. I'll fly to Lima. I was in a park, waiting. I had that appointment the very next day after that happened, to meet up with this director of this center. And as I'm waiting, I'm talking to my mom over the phone. I'm getting a cold feet, and she's pushing me and please, like, do it, please do it. And I was like, okay, let me get one more hit before I get in.
For sure.
I couldn't find anything. I was broke, man, like broke. And I was in that park. I decided, you know what, I have to go. And look, this is what happened, man. I clock in, probably I check in like around 8 to 9 p.m. I should have been there in the afternoon. And there's this guy, someone like my height, maybe a little bit taller, almost your height. He comes with a big smile, and his name is Augusto, was Augusto. He's gone. But he comes to me, man, with a big smile. I will never forget that piece. Big smile. And he gives me a hug. And at that point, man, I'm not a hugger. I think like that's only for weak people, like to be touching, like, man, we don't do that, like we don't. And he comes and hugs me, and I'm not even hugging him. I'm like this, right? I feel weird.
Did you know him?
Truthfully, no. That was the director of that of this center of the program.
Oh wow.
He comes in, hugs me, and you can tell like that's a real hug, man. And you know what he said? He said, "Son, welcome home." I felt, brother, like. I felt loved, man. I felt something that I didn't felt in a long time coming from a male, right? And brother, this is what that did to me. Uh, it changed my thought process.
Mm.
It made me feel so good. It really made me feel at home. I think he was preparing me mentally, physically, in all ways for what I was going through.
Yeah.
And that really changed my life to a certain point. And after that, you know what was my commitment with God? After I got sober, while being on the program, I told God, you know what, man, like, I'm going to do the same for other people. Maybe someone is having a really bad day. You know what? I'm just going to give him a hug. You know, I'm going to start, like, celebrating with people. I'm going to start, like, touching people. Not like that, though. Like, in a good way, you know, like, just
Yeah.
being like, man, I'm here. I'm, you know, like, whatever you need, like, I got you, man. And you never know if someone is going through something. And that hack, brother, that Monday hack could change someone's life.
Yeah.
You never know.
Save someone's life. Yeah.
And that's the main reason why I started doing that. At the beginning, it was weird, like super weird. But as time progresses, man, now to me, it's supernatural. Like, I like to hack people. You know, that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And people know this about you at this point.
Yeah, they do.
So I've got a question on this because I haven't heard that part about Augusto before. Were you the same Chiquis from a personality perspective? Like before that? Like before rehab? Or like I know you were obviously angrier. So it's hard to be, you know, but you're also a closer.
Yeah.
Meaning you do what you got to do to get the job done. So you got to be likable still, especially if you're on drugs, right? Like you got to be manipulative, you got to be smart, you got to be charming, you got to be able to work your way in and out of situations. So like where was like you kept the good stuff in that, and then like were you the same person?
Look, if I was around people, it was at a certain point that I lose my identity, my self-esteem too. I needed to do drugs if I needed to talk to someone. And if I wouldn't do drugs, yeah, like I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't do anything, right? Personality-wise,
Were you happier when you were on drugs? Like that's what would happen, right? Like you'd be in a better mood.
Yeah,
That'd
like
and that was the main
bro,
reason,
yeah,
right?
That was like almost me today, truthfully, right? Like, yeah, let
sure.
everyone like to party with me.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone. And I was a closer, man. And I don't, you know, like, please don't take that the wrong way, okay? But I don't think I was the best looking dude, because I am not. I'm a 5'6", you know, so I'm a short dude. At that point, I was skinny. I started gaining some weight, then skinny again. But brother, like, if you're a closer, you're a closer, man. I gotta tell you
Closers
that,
will be
right?
closers, sir.
Yeah, and my wife, she knows his stuff, right? Like, we've, you know, she knows my past, you know, and the rest of it. So, yeah, I think people will have fun with me, and I'll have fun with people. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a people's person, man. But if I wouldn't have drugs, though, I'll be depressed. And at that point, I just wanted to be away from everyone, just lock myself in, just keep on doing drugs, and, you know, just having my own time type of situation.
Yeah. That story with Augusto is so powerful because you know that 76% of suicides are men.
Wow.
So that's 3 out of 4.
Wow.
3 out of 4 suicides are men. And of those 76%, over 50% don't have a father in the home.
Ooh.
We talked about the importance of a mom and just that special gift that they have that God gave them. And someone could argue and say the power of a dad can sometimes match that, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. And it seems like that man that you wanted to like show you that love, that embrace, that true feeling you got from him, right? When he smiled at you, when he hugged you, like you felt that.
I did, man.
And you found that.
I did. And I always looking for a father figure, man. Unfortunately, though, if you don't have like good role models,
You follow the wrong ones,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And you're gonna feel good because you wanna please these dudes in a certain way. Like, you know, like if they like to steal, yeah, I'm gonna steal like hardcore, so I can prove myself and I can make this guy proud because that's almost like my father figure, you know. So I've been always like challenging myself into like those type of things, right? Like please the wrong people, please the people that I feel like, yeah, like this dude is solid, you know, that can be my leader. And I was just looking for the father figure that
Yeah.
got me into like so many issues, so many troubles. But yeah, like Augusto got to be that guy, man, and only in a few months, because I wasn't there for too long. I think I was there for 5-6 months, I would say, before I came back. But bro, like it was just amazing to see this dude. He wouldn't be getting paid. Like all the people there in that rehab center, we couldn't afford. Like this guy, he will go to, over there we have a lot of homeless. But people being homeless in a third world country like Peru is different than over here in the States. Over there, there's zero government help. Zero. So these people are looking trashy. They're smelling bad. And brother, like he will go, whenever he has an extra bed, he will go, take these guys, man, and bring it to the house. And I'll see this guy physically washing, like, these dudes that will smell horrible, brother. Like, that smell, it was just bad. This guy will be cleaning them up, washing them. And I was like, man, like, how much compassion can this guy have?
Freaking crazy.
You know what I mean?
Those are special people sent
Yeah.
from above, man. Like that's incredible.
Brother, and he was tough, though. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he has that compassion heart, but woo, like, he'll be
He
tough.
had to be dealing with,
He
right?
would deal with crazy
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
man. So he was just as tough as he gets, right?
Yeah.
Like, he will love you. Like, hey, I got you, whatever you need. But, brother, like, accountability in that house, woo, guy. I did things that I'll never, ever do in my house. At that point, I've never done that. Like, cleaning to, like, crazy, every detail, make sure like we're on time, make sure we're waking up at 4 a.m. to pray. It was just like that type of situation, So I think, man, like now that you're telling me all of this, and now that I'm talking about Augusto, I actually think like he might have been my role model, man. Like now I'm saying this. I've never said that in the past.
Well, he 100%, because what you told me, what you just shared with us, is what you've told me behind closed doors and how other people see you. So like we all, like as men, we don't really know like the blueprint, right? You like that?
Hey,
yeah, that's why we
like
do this
that.
podcast. Yeah, that
Good
was
rhythm.
smooth, huh? Yeah. We don't have a blueprint to follow. Like we don't have a specific go here, go there, it'll lead to this, then turn left and then go right and then go straight. We don't have that. So what we all do is we look up to somebody and we're following somebody's path. Right? Someone we trust, someone we like, someone that we believe can lead us to where we want to be. And sometimes we don't even know where that is. That like we just follow blindly. But God puts these people into our lives, and then we got to choose. And I'm telling you this because the same way you described him with the big old smile, that's you today.
It
The
is
same way you describe, like when you hug people, you walk in a room, like everyone knows it's a pure hug. It's not like I gotta hug you because I have to hug you. It's because I want to hug you and I feel you and I see you, and people feel that way about you today. And the fact
really like
that
that.
you've also told me that at some point you will, God willing, you will start up a rehab center and help all these other guys out. And obviously you'd like to, you got to pay for bills and family, etc. But I know deep down, if there was no money in it, and even if it cost you money to fund it yourself, it's happening anyways.
It will.
Yeah.
And that's good that you're putting that out there, man. I haven't talked to that many people about that, but yeah, that's what's coming for
We're
me
taking
next,
donations.
man. Yeah, for sure, please. That's for sure that's coming. It's just we all have a purpose in life,
Yeah.
right? Like we all have, and that's mine.
100% it is.
And if it's mine, and this is powerful, but you have to go through all those processes since you're a kid or in your teenagers, if you're a teenager, whatever the case might be, or during your youth, you have to go through certain things, and you have to go through that pain for you to understand what's your purpose in life. And that's super deep and super important for people to know.
Yeah, it is.
If people feel like, man, that happened to me, man, I was sexually abused, man. No, like stop complaining, but start like finding the reasons why. And I promise you, man, like once you know, you're gonna like be able to know like, okay, this is what God wants. Like this is why I was created. It's for you to go through that and conquer at the end, and now you're gonna replicate, and now you're gonna like help other people are going through exactly the same thing. As I was telling you, like you cannot give something that you don't have. So if I went through that path, man, I gotta tell you, bro, I was so blessed, like so blessed, man, because of all my past. I discovered what's gonna be my future, like how I'm gonna be able to help all these people are hurting like this, all the things that I went through, and I'm gonna show him like there's a way, and I'm gonna show you a way, not because of other people's testimonies, but for I went through and I conquered at the end. But I'm gonna show you how. And now, like, there's going to be veracity. Like, there's going to be people will understand that that's coming from the heart because I actually overcame a lot of these things. So that to me is super powerful for people to understand, like, all the pain from the past and everything that you went through, all the depression and coming from a dysfunctional family and the rest of it. Everything is preparing you for what your call is in life. Yeah. What's that purpose in life?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people today, and I'd like for you to share some game here, like specific game. There's a lot of people that see you today, and they're like, well, that's easy for you to say. You're successful. You've made a bunch of money. You sold a business. You started a business. You did all this. So it's easy to say from your perspective, right? For those people saying that, because you and I both know that's not easy. You know better than I do. Not easy. What, like, step by step, maybe 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps would you give them if they're in that hole? Like, where should they start? Because you can't even see, right? You can't even see beyond this.
Yeah.
Like, what advice, what's the first thing you would tell them to do?
God, 1,000%. There's no
even
other
if
way.
You don't want to.
You have to. Like, we all are spiritual beings. Yeah. So you have to find your creator, because what you have to heal first is your heart, is your soul. And since we are spirituals, like, you have to, like, your soul is looking for that being, the spiritual being, to get you out of that thought process.
Yeah.
So,
because no, they
can't do that, brother. Like, they can. Sometimes we feel like, whoa, there's a psychologist and psychiatrist. That's good. They can help you to a certain extent. But if you're telling me on that particular example, like, someone is on the hole and they don't know what to do, I'll tell you, man, based on my personal experience, like, the first thing, get close to God. Like, start talking to him. Figure it out with him, like, God, like, what is going on in my life? And through that, Kai, you're going to be able to uncover so many traumas in your life, man. And you're going to be able, like, to talk to certain people that either hurt you or you're hurt. And you're going to be able to, like, really set free. That's the first step ever. You got to heal your heart. How do you do that? Get close to God. Uncover who hurt you or who you might have hurt. And you got to fix that situation as soon as possible. Yeah. Because that's going to cause depression, and that could potentially give you an illness like what happened to me.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the piece that a lot of people don't understand is because so many of these people are very, including myself. So when I say these people, I'm talking about me. A lot of people are very rational. And to believe in God, it's not rational in the sense like it's a lot of faith. Ooh. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you try to make sense of this world today, you'll never make sense of it. But you also have to be smart enough to realize you're not meant to make sense of it. Yep. That's his plan. It's not your plan. Because if it was your plan, you'd probably destroy this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole thing. We'd destroy it. We'd burn ourselves down. We'd burn the whole village down. And here's what I had this conversation with someone recently, and here was my advice. And by no means, like, I have my own work to do, right? So when I say this, like, I got plenty of self-work. As a rational thinker, when things aren't going your way, and you're right, that is where you should turn, 100%. There's no human being that can save you from that. They just can't. But for the rational person, here's all I can say to that person. If you believe in Newton's law, which is equal and opposite force, the worst thing you can do is go further away from God. Forget what the best thing is, but the worst thing you can do is actually go further away. That means if you believe in Newton's law, equal and opposite force, the best thing you can do is what? Get closer to him.
Yeah.
And somewhere in between, you got to find out where you're at and how you can get closer to this side versus that side. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's next level, Kai.
It's good for people to know that.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, for the people that struggle, like, in the gym and in fitness, and they're low on energy, they don't feel well, you know what their solution is? Go to the gym. Because the only way out is through. It's the only way out.
How crazy is that, right?
It's the only way. There's literally no other way out. The only way out is through. Your energy's low, you're weak, go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. That's the only way out, though. Like, what else are you going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to try to take substitutions and easy routes. You'll start taking pills, caffeine pills, actual caffeine, more coffee, more this, something to make you feel better.
Short
Next
term
thing
might work, but long term, that's a disaster.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I want to move on to a couple other things because I think there's a lot of people that 100% are sent to our lives for a very specific reason. And then there's a lot of signs along the way that we get, right?
A lot.
Yeah, like a lot. I want to shift gears for a little bit because we've spent a lot of time on that part of your life. I want people to know who Chico is today because now they know who Chico of the past. That was Chico Malo. This is not. This is Chico
let's
Rico.
Go to Chico Rico.
Yeah, let's go to Chico Rico. So, share give us like one or two signs that you've seen in your life that.
Ooh, man, I got so many.
I know you do. I know you do. Especially when you're a believer, right? It's easy to see all the signs.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to give you one of the most powerful signs, okay? I talked to you about this one actually in a podcast that we were together, I think 3-4 years ago, which is super powerful, okay?
I think I know.
Like, I need people to know this piece, man. Like, look, when your heart is right, your thought process is really clear, your brain is clear, you're going to be able to understand how science work, okay? So, look, growing up, I only had my sister living at home, and I have this dog, man, un perro, right? But this is a big dog, man. This is, what is that called, a German Shepherd.
Strong,
right?
Fierce.
Yeah, like, I'm talking about this hairy dog, right? Like, they are like that, right? But, brother, like, they are aggressive, and he was pretty big, man. And that's the best thing that we had growing up, because that dog was with us all the way. He'll protect us. We didn't have a ceiling in my house, so people could just come in and steal or do something towards us, right? And my mom wouldn't be at home most of the day. She would, like, go work and the rest of it. So that dog, man, like, he protected us so much. And that was... you can play with the dog, like, jump, on top of the dog. And it was just good, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was aggressive, but then it was good. And I have that synergy and that relationship. Brother, like, I love the dog, man. Like, so much, brother. Like, so much. And I got to tell you this, right? Because I would lie to you if I said, oh, that's the reason why you joined, and believing in Nehal Kaiser, and that's the reason why you did business. I would like to tell you, like, yeah, that's the reason why after I shared this experience. Actually, like, everything came after the fact. But having this dog in my life, it was super important, okay? And look, I met you 2013. I think 13, right?
Yeah.
It was really weird, but I didn't like you at the beginning. But then, I don't know why, man. I think someone told me, man, this is the best GM working at LA Fitness. You got to reach out to him. And I did.
It was the
2-3 times. And he said, man, he'll answer. You never answer. You never call me back. Anyways, that's a different story. And bro, like, I got to tell you, man, I didn't like you at the beginning. I wouldn't say didn't like you, but I didn't trust you. Right, because I knew you were at the club. You didn't want to, like, talk to me, and then you went to do your thing somewhere else, prove yourself, and you came back as a VP. And I was an AGM at that time. You actually got me demoted, man. I couldn't understand that piece, but I was killing it, and I was a GM already. And you said, man, this is a brand new club. You're not gonna be able to handle it. I told you, bro, like, I got it. Like, I'm good.
Did you?
And we decided to promote someone else, and I got demoted, for doing good. I just, I couldn't figure that thought process out at that point. Now I understand. It wasn't my time. I knew, I do understand now. But yeah, like, so you came in, and as we were building that relationship, I got to know you. And I was like, man, like, yeah, this dude is solid. You know, and look, as time progresses, man, you are tough, bro. Like, tough, man. Like, so many things that you will say or do that I wouldn't agree. Now I do on a lot of things, man. But I remember it was so hard to get vacation time or time off. Like, truthfully, right? Like, it was, bro, like, you were hardcore on that stuff. I think people will feel like almost intimidated to ask you for time off, you know? And in my case, yeah, I didn't care because I wouldn't really take that much time off, man. I was a working machine, 8 to 10, nonstop. I was killing it, so I was good.
Yeah.
But as we developed that relationship, I think a lot has to do with the fact that, you didn't really need to put pressure on me. You knew that I was doing my stuff and I was winning numbers online. And we developed that friendship. I remember going to Chipotle with you like so many times. You come in with your Benz, a black one, I really like that one. And we go, man, and start having these profound conversations.
Yeah.
And just for people that they don't know you, like, you don't open up like that quick, like about your religions or about your family, like your family. And I have the same thought process. Like, I protect my family so much. If you check my social media, I don't put picture of my kids, my wife. Like, I don't do none of that. I'm trying to protect them as much as I can. But I got to know you, man, at a deep level, Kai. And I was like, it was at a moment that God put that in my heart, like, hey, you guys are going to do something. I remember being in Las Colinas. We were working out. It was Saturday, so we're doing arms. And I remember being there, and I don't want to mention names or none of that, but I remember, like, talking to you, and I was telling you, bro, like, we have to do something. Mm-hmm. And I think at that point, like, we were already studying roofing a little bit. Like, your stuff about roofing, not the knowledge piece, but the business. At all. And, yeah, I think, like, that's when we made up our minds. And we decided to do that. And I felt good, man. Look, I was broke, man. I don't know about, like, your finances, but as a VP, as a freaking VP, I don't remember having more than $5K on my account. Straight up.
That's
I really don't.
I didn't even know you had that much. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I for sure didn't. I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Bro, we were making money.
But that was my fault, though, too. I lived...
Mine, too. But we were making money, though.
But
as a salespeople, they don't teach us how to, like, really keep the money, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like, I'm making money. Let me take care of this, that, or whatever the case might be. But, bro, like, we got so close. And at that point, like, I consider you to be my brother at that time, right? I was like, that's my dog. Like, that's my brother. And this is how how signs work. I always remember calling you Nehal. I think at that time, like, maybe a few people call you Kaiser, but you'll go by Nehal. And I remember, like, started thinking, like, man, his last name is Kaiser. And I remember talking to my sister, and freaking drugs, like, really, like, my long-term memory got crashed, man. Still, in certain things. But I remember her telling me, like, you remember our dog, Kaiser? And I was like, wait, what? I said, yeah, you're right, man. That German Shepherd, that dog, the name that he had, it was Kaiser. And that was just a beautiful sign. Like, God was telling me, like, son, I allow you to, like, I don't believe in reincarnation, right? But, like, it's like, hey, I'm giving you your dog back, man. And this is the thing. And
still hairy.
You guys look alike.
Still fierce, still strong.
Like, super hairy. The throne piece, I think that was soft, though. But, no, but, man, like, super hairy. Like, like, you were on it, man. Like, you were aggressive, but just enough, right? But so compassionate, man. I've seen you, like, the way you are with people, man. Like, if someone is hurting, like, I've seen you. You don't mind, like, putting some money, giving to the homeless. And I was like, man, that's my dog, man. Like, truthfully, that's my dog. Él es mi perro. In Spanish sounds super bad.
Yeah.
But in English sounds actually really cool. Kai, like, that was one of the best signs to me, man.
Yeah.
Once again, I didn't know at the beginning because I was thinking a lot, reflecting a lot about this. As time progresses and we were already doing business, I was like, God, thank you so much, man. That was my sign, that I should be working with Kaiser. Why? Because that's the best memories. And once again, you guys look a lot alike, man. You're my dog. You know what I mean? Face-wise, the hairy and he was a little bit bulk too. Chicken legs. Yeah. Like, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, man, like, it was one of those situations that I felt like, wow, like, that's the way signs work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you told me that story a little while back, and I was like, "There's no way." But that is how signs work. You know what was? I'll tell you what the moment was for me. I mean, I knew it beforehand, but like you never really know someone until you go through something tough together, right? Until you're like in a real problem that requires a real solution, and it's not like all right, we'll do this solution. It's like a long going problem. And here's what it was. When we left the fitness industry, we left at the same time. We started up the roofing business, Raftr Roofing, and we went into a lot of debt, like a lot. In that, though, and I haven't shared this with very many people, because I did such a poor job at managing my finances in the fitness industry, when we left, I didn't really have any money saved up. And truthfully, we left abruptly. We got a call and we kind of had to like pretty much leave. It was like
that afternoon.
It was like this or that. And it was like, yeah, we're pretty much out. We know what this means. And if you remember, we applied for unemployment, which was like a very, very low, disgusting moment. Like I'm still mad at myself for doing it to this
is
day.
the first time,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, we went that route.
I mean, you applied first, and then I just, I didn't want you to feel bad. I did it with you.
Man.
And, bro, I remember because I was like, what are you up to? Because we were supposed to go meet up in Dornoch. You're like, man, I'm finishing out these applications.
Yeah, I needed to submit a certain amount.
Yeah, you got to submit like 3 applications or 5 applications a week. I don't know. And I don't know because I was like, man, they're not paying attention to that shit. I'll be good. Well, 2 weeks later, all my money, my credit cards are maxed out. My family needs money. The business needs money. We're funding projects. We're not getting back-end checks. We're buying tacos every morning at the gas station, which are amazing, by the way. Amazing. And I get a call or an email one day. I get an email saying, hey, your benefits, your unemployment is canceled. And I'm like, what? So I call them. They're like, yeah, it clearly said you needed to fill out X amount of applications. You filled out 0. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, And they were like, yeah, we can't do anything about it. And I remember because that was one of the lowest financial moments of my life. And you probably couldn't tell. I wanted to. You
have you can uncover like all those situations and everything else, like a leader do, right? Like, you got to keep yourself like good under the pressure.
Yeah. But I definitely gave signs where I was like, we gotta make some money and this and that. And I remember you were like, there was a couple moments where you were getting your checks and you were like, I'll cover this, or I'll take care of that, or hey, here's some of that while you figure this out. And I was like, man, like that's how you know. That's how you really know who someone is, because on the other end, you were broke.
Yeah.
And you had a newborn baby. Yeah, you had Mateo at the time. You got a wife at home. You got a lot of responsibility, and neither one of us have money. And it's so hard to see what money's coming in because we knew so little about the industry. But even then, you were like, here, bro. And I was like, there's no way.
You haven't paid me back, by the way, but I'm totally kidding. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but I think it was so natural for you that maybe you don't, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But that's when I knew. I was like, okay, this is what real friendship, this is what real brotherhood looks like. This is what a real partner looks like. It's not when like we're winning and things are going well and we're celebrating together. It's when the chips are down, we're both struggling. How do we look after one another? And that was really, really cool. And I don't know if I've ever fully shared that with you, but I've talked to other,
you haven't actually.
Other people about it. That was cool.
That was really cool, man. It made me feel good today.
Yeah.
I do remember about one credit card that I have left. I think I had $2,000 on the credit card, something like that.
Home Depot.
And I remember telling you, brother, like if you need to use it, bro, like please feel free. And I remember hustling on the side, making some money, sharing the money with you. I do remember that.
Yeah, bro.
That piece all the time. And I think you asked me a couple of times, say, where's the money come from? Say, don't worry about it. Like, let's just cover the bills, bro. Like, let's move on. Like, let's, we're just trying to survive, right? And to me, that's a real brotherhood, man. Like, it's yeah, like it's if we're winning, man, we're winning together. But you know, if you're behind, like I'm gonna find a way to help you. And if I'm behind, I know that I can count on you. And I did that like so many times.
Like a lot. You know how I wanted to return that favor, and a lot of people don't know this. Nobody knows this, actually. No one, because I've never shared this before. When we first started the business, from a percentage perspective, we weren't all equal partners. And because how you helped me out, we had an agreement. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where it was like, listen, like, I know how valuable you are. I know what you bring to the table. We obviously have a lot of partners. We're figuring things out. If you start off at a lower percentage, fine, but I'll share some of that money, and we figured it out with commissions and everything else. So we were in a position, and that was my way of being like, you know what, I gotta pay this back. And obviously we're equal partners, and we've been equal partners for years now.
Yeah, that was, I think, month 4 that, you know, I closed everyone on like, yep, we're done. Like, we're equals. You know, I think we all show our values and you know, what we bring to the table. And yeah, that was, you know, we got Lini also up there, which was amazing to see. Yeah, man. Hey, that's actually cool, man. There's certain things that sometimes we take for granted. Right, or sometimes we just put on the back of our head, that's the past, or whatever the case might be. But you talking about that, yeah, it actually makes you feel great, man. It makes you feel like, wow, like that's the reason why I'm doing business with this dude. That's the reason why like, we have such an amazing relationship. I don't think like we do disagree just like probably like once in a blue moon, like once in a while. But for the most part, man, like we trust each other at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, I got to know you much better now. And yeah, bro, like, you know, I trust you like 1,000% with my family, with my kids, you know. People don't know this, but what is that called that you have to sign some paperwork just in case something happens to you?
Like a will?
Kind of like a will, but I think there's another name where you put like all your possessions to someone if something happens to you. You know, someone made me do that, which is great. It's great. But I put that, you know, it says like if something ever happens to you and your lady and the kids, they don't have a mom or a dad, they have 1, 2, 3 spaces to put in there, right? People that would be in charge. Option 1, we put my mom and Lupita's mom. And option 2, I have you down for that. How crazy is that, though, right? Yeah. Like, if you think about it, man, like that's insane. Like this wild dude, you know, with amazing personality, driving these wild cars. You know, I think on your Instagram you have like one, you know, you're smoking a cigar, and I was like, yeah, that's for sure. I can share that. But you know what I mean, though? But I know like where your heart lines, and I know like the core principles that you have that are super in alignment with mine. And I was like, man, like if something will ever happen to me and Lupita. And obviously, my mom is, you know, she's getting old, and Lupita's mom as well. Bro, just for me to like almost conceive the thought process of having you as that option, either I'm crazy,
for sure that,
or you know, or I really, really, really like believe in you. You know what I mean? Which is super deep, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah. On the will, for sure, I don't have you there. You get
wild,
man, with the money.
I was like, wait, where's the money at, though? I need some money for that, sir. Nah, that's cool, bro. I appreciate the trust. I really do. And it's the same way. I told Lenny, and then I want to talk about a couple of things. You, her, my mom are top 3 people, like, in my life. Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's just the truth. But it's what we've built, right? It's what we've gone through together. It's the conversations that we've had. You're one of those people that I consider a one of one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not there's not anyone else like you. Like, you're just a one of one. And what you're going to do and the impact that you're going to leave here before your time's up is going to be insane. And it's going to live so far long beyond you. And I'm happy to be a part of that. And I'm going to contribute however I can.
Oh, you will, for sure. Financially, for sure.
For sure, I can't do that. But
share some pesos with me. That's awesome.
It really is. What do you think? Because I'm curious, because I don't want to make this too much about us. But what do you think contributes to people finding good, like, running mates? Whether that's business partners, side by side leaders, because I don't think I am the person that I am today if I didn't have someone like you. Right? Or someone like Lenny, the other partners that we had, Freddie Mig, like these are running mates, right? These are people you're going side by side with, like, all right, we're going. And there's a bunch of other people in our life, right? What do you think, like, what has the biggest influence on who you choose? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, help people understand, because there's probably people listening that maybe want to start up a business and they don't know who to partner up with, and the first option seems like a great option. Or maybe they don't want to start up a business and they run a department at a business and they're trying to figure out who they're running with, who's going to challenge them, who's going to push them, how are they going to get better, etc. What advice can you give someone on that?
Absolutely. You got to choose people that are different, but they're the same. I'm going to say that again. You got to choose people that are different, but they're the same. I'm going to tell you what I say, like the different piece and the same piece. The same as far as your core principles. Brother, like regardless, I don't care what religion you are. I don't care about none of that. I just need to make sure that your core principles are in alignment with mine. If they are, we're good. Like, we're totally fine. Now, when I'm talking about that different piece, brother, like, I have to be smart enough to know, like, who can complement me. Like, who can really elevate me, who can really work on the areas that I'm really weak at. And I found that in Lini. For sure, I found that in you. You don't know this, but indirectly, you've been my mentor in so many different ways, right? Like, I didn't have, like, too many skills when it comes to leadership. Maybe, like, the leadership from El Barrio, right? Like, that's a different type of leadership, but I never had, like, a real good, like, corporate leadership. Let's just say that first, and then it's a life leadership. And I always see you as, like, okay, you know what? This dude is running fast. Like, this dude is at a different level. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to catch up. And that's what I did. And every time I've been trying to catch up and I see you, like, you wrote a freaking book, man. How amazing is that? And I see you leader these, like, top dogs and like the synergy that you have and the people you can attract are next level. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that needs to be me as well. And I know, like, there are certain areas that I needed to work on. So I'll always, like, my challenge has been always trying to elevate myself, and this is a beautiful piece about partnership or friendship, right? Like, bro, like, if you're far away just because of everything you're doing, you're elevating yourself, and I'm still here, bro, like, I can potentially lose that friendship, that partnership, that relationship, but if you're getting there, but I'm elevating myself to trying to catch up, now indirectly you're pushing me to be better.
Yeah.
And now, like, we're in alignment, man. We're up there together. So now, like, hey, you keep on elevating yourself, brother. Like, I'm gonna catch you up, So I'm not gonna, like, really jeopardize our relationship because of, because I really don't want to get uncomfortable, get out of my comfort zone, and keep on doing what I need to do to elevate myself. So the different piece is, like, I'll find people that can add to my life, but also, like, I'm smart enough to know my value, what I can do for other people. Like, what's my real value, like, how I can contribute to this. For us, the 5 of us, that started the business back in the day, the founders, I think, like, it was a beautiful complement. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
You got the knowledge, you got the IT or the brain or the computer, you got the top dog when it comes to leadership, which was basically the face of the team. You got the heart, the person is going to be in charge of training, the culture piece, and the rest of it. Like, bro, like, we had all the angles covered.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't believe on partnerships. And I don't get them wrong because they've seen so many people, like, fighting and the rest of it. And, bro, a lot has to do because, man, like, you didn't choose the right people. But if you do choose the right people, man, it's so beautiful to have the brotherhood, man. It's just amazing, Kai. Like, amazing, man. Like, I go to work for you. I know you go to work for me. Like, if something is going on in my life, I got your support. I got Lini's support. Like, how beautiful is that?
Yeah.
So we got to be able to complement each other. And we got to be able to elevate each other. From the moment, though, that I'm not adding value in the partnership or in a company, that's a problem, man.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I either need to wake up and move, or I gotta get out of the way. That's when it gets tricky.
Yeah, 100%. That was beautiful, well said. What's the hardest thing about having partners?
Woo!
And then, what's been the hardest thing about being partners with me?
Oh my god!
But start with the first one first. Save the best for last.
Man, working with different egos, man. My God, brother, like, whoo, man. You gotta understand, man. Like, if if you're a leader and you're in top of of a company, whatever the case might be, there's a lot of ego involved. Like a lot, right? And that comes also from me. And even though like I consider to be like passive aggressive, right? Like I'm like cool. I can be humble as much as I can, listening to advice or whatever the case might be. But when it's my time to like really prove, like, yeah, I'm gonna move and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do and I'm gonna hold people accountable and the rest of it. But yeah, like that ego situation, man, that could be a real problem. And look, straight up, we deal with it a lot at the beginning. Like a lot, man, like a lot.
Every decision.
Bro, like it was just way too much.
Even the small, dumb decisions that didn't
I was
matter.
a mediator and,
Yeah, you were.
I was like in the middle of that
Me and
war
you were the
zone.
mediators.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Maybe I was the
Lily would be
instigator.
at the corner crying, right? Like, and I had to be like, okay, I gotta talk to you. I gotta talk to,
No, Lenny was like, anytime we'd have tough, uncomfortable conversations, she would like just dig her head down lower. Her shoulders would come up and she would just type. And I'd like look over at her and she'd always like just be like looking like this, like a little crab.
We started calling her crap. Yeah.
She was like, this is
She'll get so uncomfortable, man.
This is so awkward every time. She was.
Oh God, but man, like that ego situation, man.
I was a part of that problem.
Yeah, bro.
I was.
Yeah. It
I
was,
remember.
I remember talking to you at least once, but I remember talking to the other person though, like multiple times as well, bro. Like that thing, man, like that can really destroy a company. And I think I mentioned that on a couple of executive meetings back in the day. I said, guys, like if we're on the same page, if we don't play our positions, man, we're going to hurt this thing. Because if, as a company, like if the leadership, in this case, if the executives are not on the same page, bro, they're like, yeah, the kids won't survive.
Yeah.
Mom and dad were fighting. So, like, the kids, they were feeling the pain. So I was like, either we fix this, man, and we humble ourselves and we figure things out. And, bro, like, it's so many stories on that ego problem. But,
We'll save those for part 2, huh?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to have to. And toughest part working with you.
I got Freddie coming in a couple weeks.
Oh, boy. Let's go.
So he'll go and air those out.
Yeah, he's going to kill it, by the way. He has amazing energy.
Yeah,
I really like
Sherman's
that dude.
a beast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look, and the toughest part working with you, okay? It's been a lot, I'll be honest with you. But now that I got to know you, I understand so many things. Like so many things that at the beginning I didn't. I always thought that you were way too hard on people. Like way too hard though, to like a different, like it's almost like, okay, leadership, it could be great sometimes as far as like, your decision, it could be great. Like it doesn't have to be white or black. But for you, it's been always, no, it's white or black. Like there's no like gray zone like when it comes to like making certain decisions. And I always question that only to myself, by the way, like, and be like, is that the right decision though? If this guy's being too hard on this dude, like, and we lost a lot of people and we didn't lose people like in certain situations because, they left. I think a lot has to do because we have to part ways. And on a couple of them, I thought like, man, like this guy's ruthless, but is that the right decision though? Because you were like hardcore on that decision, man. As time progresses, though, a few months from, when those situations happen, I understood, man, that, okay, you know what? That was the right thing to do. I thought it was obsessive, it was excessive, it was too fast, too much.
Yeah.
But, bro, like, as time progresses, I understood that, I needed to go that route.
Yeah.
Probably I could have had that gray zone moment that, you know what, let's talk, let's figure it out, I'll give you more time. And that could have hurt the company even more.
I remember one of those, and thank you for the honest feedback. I remember one of those where I know you were mad. I know you were pissed. And it was
a few of it, but
I know. I remember one of the first ones, though. I think it was the first one. And I don't want to say any names, but we had a guy that was in one of our markets that wasn't Dallas or Austin.
Yeah.
And some things transpired. We exchanged some words. Oh, this was number 2. No, there was one in Del Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one in
It was
Del Rio.
multiple
Yeah,
there.
that turned into. Oh,
It
yeah,
was one in Dallas too.
that one was bad. But the one that was outside of Dallas, that was in a market at the time, you were like, bro, like it was like 9 p.m. or something, and you went and you spoke to this guy in San Antonio, and you're like, bro, please just come drive down here, and if you come drive down here and you hear him out, I think you can save him.
I do.
You remember that
Oh
conversation?
yeah, absolutely. I asked you to. I said,
Yeah.
bro, like you have to come.
You did. I remember. And you're one of the only people that would get me to, because what people don't realize is I value our friendship and our relationship for many reasons, but one of the reasons why, and people don't think this because we're so similar, but there's been many times where you've challenged me and my thought process and my decision making. And you've always done it respectfully and privately, but you have. And that was one of those moments where you're like, bro, if you don't come here, he's going to leave. You should come here. And I don't know if you remember my answer, but
Yeah, man, I do. I was outside this taco place, and I was like, yeah, like I know he's gonna come. I was like, yeah, he will come. And I remember what you said, and I was like, and I think I told you, brother, like if we don't do that, like this office, like it's gone, no, like done.
oh god.
Yeah, and you told me, yeah, I ain't coming.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Oh, man.
It all, listen, right decision, wrong decision. It was a decision. I think a lot of these, some I've been wrong on and some I've been right on.
It was the right decision, though, by the way. The wrong decision was a rehire process, but that's a different story.
Totally different story. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, you're right. And you advised against that one.
Yep.
And I remember, and I agreed with you, and we still did it, and I still did it. So there's many that I can own as well. So you are who you are today. You have a beautiful story. You overcame a lot. In a very short time, we built a beautiful business together with an amazing freaking team that showed up for us each and every single day. One of the things, and we had a call about this right before the podcast started, and I want to get your thought on this, okay? We were talking to the leaders this morning, and on this call, I was like, we're talking about hiring, recruiting, training, and developing, and how if you can recruit and train and develop and effectively reproduce yourself, you are the most valuable person on the team. Pure, plain, and simple. Why? Because you can effectively duplicate yourself over and over, and there's no longer one of you, there's 10 of you, there's 20 of you. And when you can do that, you're in control.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to call shots, and it's just a matter of time before you go from here to all the way to the top. So we were talking with the leaders on the importance of that, and when guys come into our business, but then they don't stay. And one of the things that the leaders brought up, and it's a very, very fair assessment, and I'm happy that he did, because we talked about it even after the call. He was like, man, it's tricky because people are getting paid more in other companies. And that does happen. That's in every industry, right? We pay very aggressive and competitive compared to all the other, brands in our market. But that's not the reason those people are leaving. That's not number one, right?
Yeah.
And I want to get your thought on this, because you know what I said, but I want everyone to hear it. I asked everyone, I said, all the guys who believe that pay is the reason, higher pay is the reason that people are leaving, I got a question for you. All you guys that are on here, and we know all these guys for 10 years, 8 years, whatever amount of years, I was like, each and every single one of you at some point has told me that you've been offered a position for a higher role or higher money, and you stayed. And I was like, why did you stay?
That was a good question.
And you remember and everyone said in the words of loyalty, relationship. How important is that in a business?
Kai, culture is everything. Like, culture is really everything.
Yeah.
Right? Look, to answer that question, I'm going to tell you what culture is to me, okay? Because I'm a huge fan of building culture. How do you feel whenever you're at home? You feel peace, right? To a certain point, yeah, you can feel vulnerable. Yeah, you feel relaxed. You can drink a cup of coffee, and then you can put your thoughts together, and that's when magic happens, right? That's when you get, like, all your ideas together. Like, you don't have to pretend to be someone that you're not. You know, you can be yourself. Like, we can get the best version about yourself. Like, if you're tired, you lay down in bed. If you feel active, you get into, you know, the treadmill that you have at home or whatever the case might be, or go for a swimming. To me, culture, it's being at home without being at home. I don't know if that makes sense. So, like, to me, culture is absolutely everything on a business. If someone comes and join, right? Yeah, like that commission piece could attract, which, by the way, man, like our commission, like our pay plan, it's just freaking awesome. Like, it's super competitive. But if someone comes in, they'll stay because of that culture. Like, bottom line. And who's that culture? Like, it's us, right? Like, we are leading that culture piece. So if someone will stay with me, it's because what I bring to the table, what is the value, what is the culture that I'm building with that person, how much I care about that person. Is that person really feeling at home while being at the office, or they're actually feeling like they're an Amber? You know, so to me, that's more important than absolutely everything, man. It's like, if these people feel at home, if these people feel that culture, man, why would they leave? Like, why though? Oh, because there's an extra 5%? Is that gonna like make a huge difference, man? No. It has a lot more to do on like how people feel more than how much people are making. No doubt. Like, if someone is underpaid, I get it. Totally, I promise different. You. But in this case, that's not the route that we're taking. Like, if someone leaves, bro, like 100%, it's because of us. There's exceptions to the rule. Yeah, there's going to be exceptions to the rule. For the most part, though, it's like, if I'm doing my piece, man, to take care of my department and my people, I promise you, man, like, nobody will leave. And that's the reason why, like, these dudes, the core guys of what we have, yeah, they stayed because, man, like, we were with them on the trenches. I remember, like, training almost all these dudes at the beginning, like, going to door knock with them. You were in the cat stores with these guys, you know, like, bro, like, they wouldn't leave because they see, like, okay, this dude is on the trenches with me. This person, like, I can feel the culture. Like, they care about me without you saying, yeah, I care about you. No, like, it's like they can feel that.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why people will stay for so many years. But, and maybe I'm going to hold myself accountable on this one, right? So maybe we didn't do an exceptional job, you know, at developing these guys to the point that they can actually do the same and replicate the piece. When now, like, it's their duty to be on the trenches with their guys. It's their duty to take care of these guys. Their duty to understand what they need, understand this person at a deep level. I'm talking about, like, what's your X factor? I want to make money. Yeah. Like, I'm talking about, like, really, let me get to know you, man. Let me fight for you, brother. Like, hey, you need an extra $100 to pay your car bill. Like, hey, I got you, man. This is a family. You know, and maybe I didn't do, like, a good job at really passing that over to the guys where they can do the same with their people. But, brother, like, human beings, like, we can feel that. You know, like, we can feel, like, you know, if you have good intentions, you don't. If you're a strong leader or you're not. We're past over the 70s, 80s, where everything was like, it's a boss, right? Like, hey, you know, you do as I said. Bro, like, we don't live on that anymore. People are so educated that nowadays, that, bro, like, you can hard close someone.
Yeah, I think that people also need to understand that if you've got someone that is going to leave just for the money and the money only, that's the equivalent of a woman leaving you just because there's another guy that has more money or is more handsome. That wasn't your person to begin with anyways. And those people do exist.
Yeah.
Now, if the majority of the people in your company are leaving because there's not enough money, or you have a pay plan problem.
Yeah, 100%.
But
common denominator.
Yeah, there's something going on. But you and I both know that money isn't everything when it comes to someone choosing their career, as long as they are content with their pay and they're being paid fair. And there was a study done on this, and top 5 reasons why someone stays with a company. Do you remember what it is, what number 1 is? Number 1 is recognition. People want to be recognized. People want to be seen. They want to know that, hey, you see and appreciate the hard work that I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why we do Monday meetings, is because we want to recognize people and let them know, hey, I see you. I appreciate you. On that list, number 5 was money. Obviously, the freaking money is important. No one's doing this shit for free. We're all doing it because we want to make great money, but that ain't number one. And if you've sold yourself on number one, you're forgetting that there's 4 other ones that are just way too important that you cannot leave off.
And a lot has to do because maybe, like, as a leader, like money is your number one.
It's your thing, and you're projecting.
And then you're projecting, and then it's a problem.
That's 100% true. Look, we're getting down. I feel like we can go for like another hour or so, but
we got a lot to talk about.
I
man.
know we do.
Wow,
I know
it's been 2 hours.
Yeah,
man.
it has. Look, I wanna ask a couple final questions to leave our audience with some things. And this is a very general question. What makes someone successful? In your opinion?
Hard work, dedication, knowing exactly like what's your fuel, like what's your X factor. I'm talking about the real deal, and getting that fuel meant to like be obsessed with what you're doing. That's a word I always use with people. Like, be obsessed on anything and everything that you're doing. Like, you have to be obsessed. And if you do, man, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be successful. It doesn't matter what you do. I don't care if I'm cleaning bathrooms. I'm going to be the best freaking cleaner, ever. So it's being obsessed. I've been always trying to find that balance that people talks in life. Brother, for strong leaders, for real leaders, there's no balance, bro. Like, there's none. But this is the caveat to that. If I know I'm going to be obsessed and I'm going to do my best, like if it's a new job or whatever the case might be, I'm going 110% on it. I'm going to tell you this, though. I got to be impactful with the rest of my time. And that's something I got from you. If I'm going to spend only like 30 minutes with my kids a day, which it happens a lot because of the business we're in, brother, like, I'm going to get the best out of those 30 minutes. Like, those are the last 30 minutes I'm going to see him. So just being impactful and just be obsessed. And I really mean it, man. I ain't talking that word lightly. Like, be obsessed with what you're doing, man. Like, give you 110%. If not, get out of the way, man. Like, don't do it. Like, don't do things halfway, man. Like, if you're not obsessed, man, like, just get out of the way.
Yeah.
So that's the best advice I can give someone. If you want success, man, be obsessed with what you're doing. And I promise you, you'll be fine.
Beautiful. Beautiful. My last question for you, and I like to ask all the guests this, okay? So you can take a moment to think about this, because this one's arguably maybe the most important question I'll ask you today. If this was your final recording, this was your final message, and this was the last piece of video that anyone had of you, and people would always reference back to this video, and you could share something with the audience, the viewers, and it's any message. It can be anything that comes to mind, like that you want to be remembered for, that this is what he said and this is the impact that he left us with. What would be your final words?
Kai, that's a next level question, man.
Take your time.
Yeah, bro, like, I've been in a couple of podcasts. I never was asked that question, which is really, really profound. I'll tell you this, if this is my last recording ever, and I want my kids to listen to it, and my family, people that I love, and people that they don't know me, I'll tell you, like, get close to God and be impactful on anything and everything that you do. What do you mean with being impactful, man? Take that time, whatever the time is. Like, if you're with your kids, you're with your mom, with your pops, or whatever the case might be, bro, treat it as if it's the last visit or the last encounter with that person. So close to God, being impactful on everything that you do, and you see how beautiful life is.
The man,
Woo!
the myth, el campeón de campeones, la chiva, Chico Rico, Jimenez, mi gente, gracias por todo.
Thank you so much. Thank you
guys for tuning in.
Subscribe.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment on the podcast. We'll see you next week. Mr. Chico Rico.
Thank you so much.
Brother.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Blueprint Podcast. We had a great time today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We put out an episode every single Monday at 8 a.m., so make sure you tune in for the next one and share some feedback. We'd love to hear what you have in mind. We'll see you on the next one.